In a world that's rushing, we slow it down, finding light where shadows surround. Heart to heart, where the truth is told. We rise together, stories unfold. The gold is within. If you don't go within, you go without. Every voice, every heart, it's what we're about. Together we rise, hand in hand, soul to soul. Warm, safe and loving, making each other.
Hello, everybody. We
Hi.
are Alisha Schwartz
and Rochelle Schwartz.
We are Together We Rise, and we are
And
mother-daughter
dynamic duo. Whoop,
So we're here again with our amazing guest. We'll bring them on in a little bit with our series, The Enlightened View. And today's topic is, how can we show up just as our true self? Just as myself, as my true self.
Well, that's, like, how do you show up as your true self? Do people really know who their true self is?
Well, that's the question.
I mean, really.
Because, if I didn't start this work back in when I was
Mhm.
22, I'm 52 today, not today, but 52,
Well,
meaning
yes.
presently. And I look back and I could say to you, yeah, I thought I was my true self.
Mhm.
But I think there are layers as you do some work and as you discover more transformation for yourself, as you
Mhm.
go a little deeper, you start to see, well, maybe I really wasn't my true self. I was trying to be somebody for somebody
But
else.
at that time,
You thought
were.
it was.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I think that, depending on where you are in your life,
Absolutely.
you could show up as your true self and you think you are, and it's so different for everybody. So
no question. But
like for me, I think showing up as my true self is just being me. I mean,
Mhm. But
just being me.
But it takes layers
Yeah.
to get to who you really are,
Yeah,
authentically.
Yeah, because I think we develop these personas.
Correct.
And we develop these personalities that we want so that we're loved and liked. It goes back
Right.
to that. And it really isn't our true self. It's showing up as something for somebody else so
Right,
that
so they
they
can
love
love
us
you.
and like us.
Correct.
Yeah.
And how does that work?
Well, it might work for a little while.
Just a little bit.
But then you start to get angry and
Mhm.
resentful because it's really not in your highest. It's really, you're doing
Yeah.
it for somebody else.
And then when they leave, you're back to you. And
That's
who
right.
are you?
Yeah.
So it's really the start of a journey.
It is.
Finding out who you really truly are. And sometimes for me, it took a lifetime.
Yeah.
But
well, yeah.
It does. It depends on the individual and what their story is and, all of that stuff. But, how do you honor your truth with love today?
I think it's really being around people that reflect that loving part of you, or the people that really support you. And again, that's work too, because as you keep layering and unconcealing and
Mhm.
really working through stuff, you really get to see who is really there for you as your true self.
And
right?
isn't it true that as you do that, what happens
People
is
drop away.
they just drop away. It's like, bye.
Or, I think it's an evolution. I think you just start to change and you change, and maybe the other person isn't changing where you are. And so, like a marriage,
Right.
whether it's a friendship or a mother-daughter or siblings, or a lot of times we're not in the same place emotionally.
Mhm.
That's okay. But you still have to be true to yourself,
Right.
and say, okay, we're not in the same place. So I can go my way. I love you, and you can go your way, and maybe we'll come back together, or maybe we won't.
not. Right.
Yeah.
But it's that gut feeling, when you're in alignment and when you're not. And, honoring is like self-respect,
Yeah.
self-esteem.
So what do you do to honor yourself?
I look in the mirror and I say, I love you. I love every part of who you're being. And my soul, as I look into my eyes, my soul is so, it's true for me. It may sound dramatic.
Yeah, but that's
it
part of who
is.
you are
It's-
too.
Yes, I am
Dramatic,
dramatic.
too.
I am.
Yeah.
But it's really looking and saying, every piece of who you're being today got you from all of the negativity that you have gone through in your lifetime. And thank God you took this journey, you took this path,
Yeah.
and you started this path at 30 years old, and I'm 80. So
80s Grady.
yeah, so it's been a whole full circle of being true to myself.
Yeah.
And being true to myself, the veil is so thin. I mean, I could smell it if
And-
it's not being in alignment with me and clients as
Yeah.
well.
And I think, like you're saying, when you're not being your true self. You feel it because
Yeah.
you've done enough to know what feels right for you and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And so if you're trying to be someone you're not, you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And the other person probably feels it too, or maybe they don't, but you do.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. So it's getting back to maybe why aren't you being your true self? What stops you from being your true self?
Right.
And a
that's
lot of
good one,
times
too.
it's just to fit in, to be loved, to be
feel
liked.
safe. People have to feel safe. They don't like to go out of that comfort.
Yeah.
And they stay stuck.
And I think big change and being uncomfortable is really part of being your true self.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I could look at my life too over time. And when I've wanted to stay somewhere where maybe it was time to go, I stayed, and then it cost me, whether that it cost me money, energy, time, whatever that is. And and I wasn't in alignment energetically.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take the action and say, you know what, this doesn't fit for me anymore. And so I got to leave. And that takes a level of being true to yourself.
It certainly does.
And that could be a relationship you're no longer fitting
and
into.
that takes, I think, a lot of courage. Instead of staying in that comfort, it's like going outside and saying, you know what, this doesn't feel, but I have to do it. That's internal knowing
Mhm.
as to who you really are, and it doesn't support you
Yeah.
anymore.
It
And
doesn't.
it's the greatest gift that you can give yourself is really going with the changes that will happen, and the growth that follows is phenomenal.
And then you get to feel really more in alignment, more free, more in your own energy, and not somewhere where you don't really want to be. And you're out of integrity with yourself, which is a big thing when you're not being true to yourself. Because people think integrity is money. I used to think that. I used to think, when you're not in integrity, that means, but integrity goes into every area of your life.
Sure does. Yep.
And being true to yourself is being in integrity with you and being true to you.
Yeah. And it's such a good feeling when you feel that sense of, it was hard, but it feels so good. And a lot of times it's standing up for yourself. It's standing up and saying to a client, we're not in alignment.
Yeah.
And we're not. So I'll give you to somebody else that can support you and that can help you.
Or, you just know that the time that you had with this client is done.
Yeah.
And then you can lovingly just, it, and the other client knows it. And then you just move on, and new people come in as a client to use your services and use what your gift is in the world. And I think, this is a big topic.
It is.
Because,
it really is.
People out there, just take a look, what does it mean to show up as your true self? Like, do you look in the mirror and like what you see?
Mhm.
Or do you not like what you see? And if you don't, then maybe it's time to look a little deeper, right?
Absolutely.
To what would make you feel and show up as your true self.
And I think also as you become so conscious and aware, and that you're human and you do slip back, but you can't go that far back, because it's just showing you there's something that needs to change. There's something here that I need to look at and say to myself, what is it that's going on? And that's with everybody.
Yeah.
It's with everybody.
Yeah.
And it's with your family. And that's good.
And maybe it's, with someone in your life, like you're saying, as a family member.
Yeah.
Maybe you're just, that old relationship with your father, your mother, your sister, your brother isn't in your highest to stay as connected.
Yeah.
So you could take care of yourself, and maybe that's something that keeps you being true to who you are,
And that's really good.
So we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be back with our guest to go a little deeper with this conversation. See you in a minute.
Welcome.
All right, we're back with our guest again. Thank you both for being here, Barbara Ellison and Jeff Malone. We appreciate you guys. So, big conversation,
Yeah, it
right?
is.
How do I show up as my true self? I know everybody has their own view. That's why we're here, Enlightened Views. So, who wants to share first about that?
What comes to mind? And besides that, I'm the girl. So, I mean, that's what Jeff said last time, ladies first. So I'm the girl. So I'm going to do it.
You go, Barbara.
I think one of the biggest things is being able to do that. Just say, hey, you know what? Gee, Jeff said last time, ladies goes first. Okay, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to be first.
Yeah.
Just be able to say that not in a haughty way, but to just do it as the fun. Like, I want to have fun with people, and I want people to think that they can have fun with me, of teasing or back and forth. Because so often what happens is, for me, it's usually means letting go of who I think I'm supposed to be. Oh, well, I was brought up that, professional women, they don't wear bright red lipstick and red glasses and wear bright colors. Women were seen and not heard, kind of thing. You didn't voice your opinion, or you didn't, especially at the expense of the man in the room. So this is something different for me, and something that I have really had to. I loved what you were talking about in going with the changes and being and not being out of integrity with yourself.
Yeah.
And I'll tell. Can I share? Well, no, let Jeff talk, because then I'll share a little bit of my story.
Yeah, sure. You can. Yeah.
Let's let Jeff talk.
Let Jeff talk. Exactly.
You're up.
Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate it. This has been a big part of my work the last 15 years. Getting at not just true self, but self-expression, and what impacts that, what happens. And when I first started, I started looking at little kids, babies and infants and toddlers. And because they're fully expressed, like, I would study kids, and they would sing and dance, and they'd be terrible. They'd be horrible, but they thought they were great. Right. And they enjoyed every moment of it, and they were fully expressed, and they were being their true selves. And then something happens. Socialization, the judgments, you can't be like that. Don't be too big for your britches. Don't do this. Don't do that. As we're going along, and I would watch children lose that. They would actually, their self-expression was taken away, and they were rewarded more for what they were doing than who they were being. And so it's like our system kind of does that it takes, and it makes doing much more important than who you're being. And so we minimize it. We push it aside, and we start thinking about what do I need to do to be okay in this situation, rather than who am I and how do I want to be? We don't ask that question. How do I want to be? We ask, who do I need to be? And that the simple shift of that makes all the difference in the world. That's what leads. It's why we developed the 7 lights, really looking at, because we said kids they shine their lights brightly. Adults are afraid to shine their lights. Barbara, you just shined your light. You just shined it big time, going, I'm willing to wear red lipstick and stand up in front of whatever I need. And that's shining your light. And that's what a 2-year-old would do. Congratulations.
I know.
Okay? So I'm a big advocate of finding your 2-year-old and letting him or her run things for a couple of days and see how your life feels.
So, Jeff, how do you show up as your true self? What does that look like for you?
Well, it came down to recognizing that what's the best way for me to shine my light. And it's being connected with people. It's in bringing truth. It's in helping people see themselves and see the reflection of themselves. And it's, I'll try and say this as gently as I can, not giving a damn how people see me. And that took a long time for me to get to, because it was important, being in the corporate world and trying to accomplish things. And, I moved into the woods, and I live in a forest, and I don't really care what people think anymore. If you like me, great. In fact, I will tell you the way I look at relationships, Alicia, is I tell people, all the people I coach, especially women, be the best you can be and see who shows up.
Right.
Stop trying to be anyone but yourself. And I trust my gut on things. I trust my feelings. It doesn't feel right to me. I don't do it.
Yeah.
And even if everybody is saying you need to do that, I don't do that because I know what'll happen if I do that. I will feel terrible about myself. And it's what happens is once you make that choice, you make one compromise, it's easy to make a lot more. And you fall into that pattern where you give yourself up in the name of I've got to make this compromise. So that was probably a convoluted explanation.
No, it makes perfect sense.
As you know, I run my life really separate, and I don't allow the outside to tell me who to be anymore.
Yeah, but I also want to add one thing that you do bring is your humor. And that is so important. It really
and that definitely is part of your true self, for sure. It's from the day I met you. That's part of your.
It
I think it's your winning formula.
I do too.
It really brings more light.
You know, my humor was developed because I had to protect myself from my family.
Yeah.
And it was a defense mechanism because if I could make my parents laugh, they didn't yell at me.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So I became very good at making my parents laugh. And by the way, got in a lot of trouble at school for being a joker. So you're right. It is a big part of my self-expression. Yes. My true self is probably pretty insecure.
Yeah, I would say that's about right. Yeah, 100%.
You hit it.
You nailed it.
You nailed it, Cookie. You nailed
it. For everyone. I mean, for everyone out there, how many people can relate to that? And to what Barbara's saying, to what Jeff's saying, to what we're saying. It all makes so much sense in this topic. It really does. Okay, so we have a question for you too. Mm-hmm. Here we go. Who am I when I choose courage over comfort? Who am I when I choose courage over comfort? It's a great question.
Yeah, it is.
For me,
yep.
Sure, you're right up front.
Girl. For me, it's about when I stop editing myself.
Oh, I get that one.
Yeah. I mean, because I was brought up in a very traditional family, and I was kind of the more outgoing, flamboyant. Well, you can see this is me. If you like me, great. If you don't, that's okay too. So this was me. So when I would be being my self, I was the life of the party. And then when it's the times that I was trying to fit in, and I would be that quiet and just sit back. And I remember one time I was at a wedding. We had a great time. The next day, I was being the quiet person, the toe the line and edit, and just fit in with the family. And my aunt turned around and said to my mom, Doris, what's wrong with Barbara? And my mother turned right around to me. She said, yeah, what's wrong with you? And in that moment, being the flamboyant, being the outgoing extrovert type person wasn't it wasn't all that good in a slice of bread, but being the quiet person wasn't right either.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle. And that's when so often I was caught between trying to be myself, and that wasn't good, not necessarily a good thing, but then trying to fit in with the family, and that wasn't good for me.
Yeah.
Consequently, I had 2 marriages to men who were the same way as my family was.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah. Oh boy, can I relate to that one? Wow. Because you could see that. I personally, around my ex-husband, I never realized it, but everybody would say to me, you're so quiet. And yet when you're not around anybody else, you're not with that person, you're so funny and you're light. I never excuse me, Mike. I never connected that it was his energy.
Right.
So I'd shut down and be quiet.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Jeffy.
You're next, Jeff. Who am I?
For me, it's simple. It's very, very simple. It's a formula that I've used in my life since I left Debbie Ford 15, 16 years ago. I don't take responsibility for other people's feelings. I take
Yeah.
complete responsibility for mine. And when you do that, it's not isolating. In fact, people can, they'll make a statement about me that I'm not compassionate, not empathetic. I'm very empathetic. I look at other people's situations, and if they're expecting me to support an emotional reaction on their part, I look at it as, well, the divine has reached down and has given them an experience that they're struggling with. And it's something they really need to process through themselves. And me jumping into it messes up what the divine is trying to do. And I have to listen to my own feelings, because if I don't, I mean, I was taught, set my feelings aside. Your feelings don't matter. Everyone else's feelings matter. And that you become numb.
Yeah.
You reach a point where your feelings, you just don't even want to get to them, or you focus on one set of feelings that you have to feel this way all the time, even when you don't. So when I say take responsibility for my feelings, that means feel them and digest them. That feelings don't go away unless we hear them and we're willing to digest what's coming up and really process our way through it. And that, I think that for me, that it's not always comfortable, but it is definitely courageous. So
That is true, because it's so true. When you're taking responsibility for other people's feelings, right? How can you be courageous? Because you're just taking it on. The courage part is saying, I'm just going to take my feelings and make and honor those. And those other people can take their own. And it frees you up for sure.
And don't you think that sometimes we're talking about responsibility? We are responsible for our own feelings, but we don't take the blame for your own feelings either. And so often we do both. We take responsibility for somebody else's feelings. And then when we get upset because we did it, then we blame ourselves. What's wrong with me that I did this?
Yeah. So it's a double-edged sword. It's like
a double-edged sword. And we do it all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Go ahead.
All right. The next question. What would I do differently if I stopped hiding? What would you do differently if you stopped hiding?
And we can, by the way, we can hide out in different ways, right?
Yes.
Maybe, in the outer world, you're like really like extroverted, right? You're social. And maybe that's the part of you where you're really introverted, right? So you can also hide out there. So it's like, where do you dance in between where you could stop hiding? Like for me, I could say I like hiding because it's comfortable, right? So for me, it would take a step out and say, wait a minute, I'm going to do something different that I'm not comfortable with, so that I would stop that kind of behavior, if you will. So, yeah. So what is it for you all?
I'm getting better at it. That now I kind of just will put it out there that, you know what, people, I don't have it all figured out.
Right.
And just put it out there. I do not have this all figured out. I am still a work in progress.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for all the reasons that we're already just talking about.
Yeah.
Because, we're products of our childhood and our middle and our early, and now in my late, at 75, I thought I would have it figured out by now. Oh, brother. Yeah.
Not at all. It's true. There's always a learning curve to everything.
Always a learning
Just
all
never
the time.
You don't stop, otherwise you're dead.
Right. Every day is a learning. Every day is a learning.
Yes, it is.
100%. Jeff. So Jeff.
Yesterday wasn't a learning for me, so I failed.
You had it all together yesterday.
I had it all together yesterday, and today it's completely different. It's a little different for me, but it's along the lines of what you were talking about, Alisha. What I do is I go in and I just take everything over. I become bigger than the space when I'm with a group of people. I take full responsibility. I become the leader. Everyone looks to me like I'm in control. And there's it's all out of, if I can control things and I'm in charge of it, then I'm safe. Then I'm okay, because inside all of it is a fundamental feeling of not being safe. And again, from childhood, Barbara, like you referred to.
Right.
So when I learned to compensate, but if I take care of the room and I'm running everything, guess what? It's going to go the way I want it.
Okay.
And everybody kind of likes that. They want somebody to jump up and do that. So you even get a secondary reward for doing that. It's like, oh, Jeff's going to take care of it. That's great.
Right.
Exactly. Thank you, Jeff.
It's really worked.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then how
the two
has
of you
it,
know,
but what
you've
was
seen
the
it.
part of, yeah, but what was a part of you, so you hide behind that is what you're saying.
The little guy that's scared to death, that doesn't know if he fits anywhere. I had a nickname in high school. I wasn't good with girls. I know you're looking now and going, my God, he's so cool. He's so great. But there was a time when I was incredibly insecure. And my nickname was Skinny Minnie. I was almost 6 feet tall. I weighed 130 pounds and I looked like a scarecrow.
Wow.
And I was so insecure about that, and it stuck with me my whole life.
And that's interesting because I used to hide with food. I couldn't get my feelings out, and they used to call me, my family, piano stools, piano legs. And now that I look at a piano, they're thin, but I never saw it that way.
Yes,
I saw myself as heavy, and that's what they did. So I would hide with food. But my refrigerator helped me dance because I'd wrap a towel and I'd learn how to dance.
very inventive.
I mean, really.
Very interesting.
But that was
You dance with
really,
your refrigerator?
Yes, I danced with my refrigerator and I ate.
That's how she hid.
That's how I hid, to keep myself safe.
I actually love that. That's your 2-year-old.
Yeah. Probably the one that was in my mother's stomach.
But I really see, and I still see like where I hide behind, like I love to be comfortable.
Yeah,
I
you
love
do.
to be
She
at
does.
home. And it takes me everything to get out of that. It really does. And I'm still working on it because I love being comfort at home. I like being home.
Why do you need to?
It's just safe. It's like my
Why
safe.
do you need to get out?
Oh, I don't, but it does stop me from like meeting new people perhaps, or putting myself in a position maybe to meet somebody else, or, you just never know. So, I'm just open to new ways of being. And I still love being home because it's my safe place and I get a lot out of being at home, but I've always been that way. Yeah. So, I think it's just finding that balance, between the two. So it's a work in progress.
Not me.
And I think that's when we can accept that in ourselves, that we are a work in progress. And quit beating ourselves. One of the things that I share with my clients quite often is quit beating yourself up for the things that you're not. Let's celebrate the things that you are, or in Jeff's case that he was talking about, the person that you're becoming. Celebrate that small win of what are you doing differently now that you're becoming a better version of yourself. Celebrate those. Quit beating yourself up for the stuff you're not.
I think another thing is, at this stage of life, it's really accepting as you age. And that has been a big challenge for me, a really big challenge.
Yeah. And you're always working on it.
God, there's nothing that I won't do. There's nothing, that's it. But that's been a really challenging part for me. Thank God for Jeff.
So I have a suggestion for you, Rochelle. I want you to do a video of you dancing with the refrigerator and post it on social media.
Exactly.
I want you to be completely, fully expressed and allow that part of you out.
You're so
because
great.
That would be your true self, wouldn't it?
If I can move my legs.
A quick little suggestion for you. A friend of mine just challenged us in my group to make a caricature of us on AI. Just make a caricature for yourself.
Or AA.
So I would really encourage you to do that and put you a caricature of you dancing.
Oh, that's
Oh.
cute. That's cute. An AI character.
Yeah, that's
That's
good.
cute.
That's good because I really can't move my legs like I
Well, you
used
can
to.
move
I
them.
can move them, but not the way I would like to. Because I'm fully
Oh.
expressed in dancing.
Oh yes.
I'm
Oh yes.
fully
So you
expressed.
can't accept that you can't dance like you want to dance.
Right.
And so you judge yourself for not being able to dance like you want to dance, and you need to create a character that does the dance that you can't do.
Can do.
I'm just catching it. I want to be really clear.
That was good. That was good.
It's kind of like no true self there, is there?
There was no true self.
That's true.
That
That's
is
so
true.
good. Thank you.
Isn't that
Thank
what
you.
we do? Isn't
Yeah.
that what we do? Like my caricature
It is
has
what
me
we
sitting
do.
on a Harley.
Oh, I could see that.
I could
with you,
see that
Barbara.
with a
I
leather
really-
Think about
jacket.
dating apps.
With
Think
a
about
leather
dating apps.
jacket. It's
People,
like,
they put pictures up that are not of them. It's somebody else. You know,
Yes.
we don't want to be ourselves, and we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, it goes back to being your true self. How can you show up?
How do
Being
you
your
show
own
up?
true self. And if you're putting on those different, let's say, faces, then you're just distracting yourself from really being that. And so we are all that's what this is about. It is about a
But it's-
learning process of life.
right, but it's having fun with it to be able to
Yes.
Absolutely.
to have the fun with it, because then it's not self-depreciating. It's
Correct.
It's in the vein of, oh yeah, can you imagine? Oh, so that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we have
Awesome.
go ahead,
big
Jeff.
conversation.
Go ahead. What were you going to say, Jeff, before I ask this last question?
I wonder the impact of denying ourselves on our integrity, and on our self-worth and self-esteem, how we see ourselves. And I think it's one of the big costs that people don't think about, that you're commenting on your legs. Okay, well, what do you think that does to your self-esteem, Rochelle?
Oh, I'm right there with you, Jeff.
100%.
And I'm too old, and my legs don't work, and I'm pissed off at my body, and all of those things, they create a negativity in your life that makes it hard for you to move forward. And so we have to work really hard at not allowing ourselves to be our biggest critic, because our biggest critic is not our true self; it's our fear.
True. And you said something.
That's very
That's
true,
true.
Jeff.
And you said
really.
something before, and it really hit me that, like, okay, so I like to be home. What's wrong with that?
Mhm.
And I didn't connect it until just now that I might have been making it wrong of being a homebody.
Might have?
And yeah, probably. Yeah. So that was good. And it's a great awareness, because if I'm free to just be the way I like to be, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
So it brings in that level of acceptance that we all are learning to every single day embrace, right?
I really.
Thanks
God,
for that,
that's
Jeff.
so-
That was
thank
good.
you. That was
All we
good.
have to do is let our light shine brightly
Yeah,
in whatever way it's supposed to. We're all different. Everyone's light shines differently, and you have to
absolutely.
find it, you have to love it, and you have to allow it to be fully expressed. And when you do that, you're really at your true self.
Yeah, 100%. Look
So-
at that. All right, so we have
Yeah.
one more quick question before we
Uh-oh.
wrap it up, and that is, how can I honor my truth with love today? That's a great ending to this conversation. How can I
Can you honor your truth with love?
How can I honor my truth with love today? Love today. Who wants to share first?
I'll go first, Barb.
Yeah.
For the first time. Love is truth.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
If there's no dichotomy there. If you're loving, you're in truth, and it's that simple. You honor yourself by bringing love to everything you possibly can, and in doing that, you're at truth.
Yeah, beautifully said. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Barbara, real quick.
And
Sure.
when we can truly love ourselves, we love our body relaxes, so that shows up, and people can see when you're relaxed. They really can. So yeah, I think that when you're being your true self, your body relaxes, it shows up in your mannerisms, it shows up in how your gestures and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's
Awesome.
So true.
when
Wow.
we love ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys.
Well,
wow.
you guys, this has been a
This
great,
has been such a great experience.
Yeah, it really has,
It
and a
really
great
has.
time. And,
Yes.
and
Thank
I
you.
know everybody watching
Ugh.
this new series, Enlightened View, can get something from each one of us. I mean,
100%.
really, the wisdom is beyond.
Yeah, and we honor you all. We really do, and we
And
love
thanks
you.
for taking your time.
Yes.
And these last 3, Fridays
Series.
series to be with us. So we love you and
We
we
do.
thank you and we celebrate all of who you are.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
with that, we are going to take a sponsor break and wrap up at the end. We're back.
We are.
Okay, with
Wow,
the
this
topic
is
today
great.
with our
Oh,
Enlightened
my
View
Lord, it was
series.
so
Thank you,
fabulous.
Jeff
Thank
and
you.
Barbara. We really appreciate you. So we're going to just give you one little nugget of action step, and it's how can we show up as our own true self? And one of the things you can do, perhaps, is write a letter to that part of you, that's that truest part of you, and just write all the
Your true
things
self.
that you want to hear. Let's say you want to hear from somebody else, but look at yourself and write that letter. So for instance, Alicia, I want to acknowledge you for just showing up today and being the most truest you've ever been, and just keep it flowing, keep it going. And that's another action
Yeah, it's
you can
honoring
take
yourself
to honor
authentically.
yourself, or say no when you
Right.
want to say yes, and really have a boundary at times.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
that's our little action and nugget. We'll be back with more of our series, Enlightened View. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Together We Rise
On YouTube.
And we'll see you soon.
Mwah.
In a world that's rushing, we slow it down, finding light where shadows surround. Heart to heart, where the truth is told.